Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 94. And I'm back, baby. I'm back in my full wholeness, in my full essence, in my bad bitch. I know who the fuck I am since, okay? Last episode, I take you on the journey of being let down from Church Bay and what happened with suddenly not hearing from him and feeling just uh just taken aback, and I have more updates. We're still done. I'm still done with the situation, but there's more to be said from the last episode. Okay, so I'm trying to remind myself what happened last episode and last week. So, because since I think it's been 2 days now, or about to be 2 days, I've deleted our message thread. And when I delete your message thread, I'm done. Like there's no and it's one thing to delete the message thread through the phone, but it's another thing to do so on the computer as well because I have a MacBook. And so it syncs immediately. Once I delete both sides, I don't even remember what happened anymore. Like that's how much more forward moving that I am once I made that decision. But let me just hark back to some brief recap. So, in case you're not familiar, I mean, you could pause this episode and go back to our previous episode where I talk about what the title is Survey Says That's a Lie. And I just talk about how I've been feeling kind of off with Church Bay, how I'm pretty much clairsentient and I could feel your energy. I could feel when you switch up on me. I could feel when your words are or your actions aren't aligning with the words that you're saying to me, and how a lot of guys are good with their words, at least some guys are, and they're good with their speech and they know what to say and they do these sweet nothings and you feel like, okay, oh my gosh, they get it. And so I felt that way about Church Bay. The episode previous to the last one, actually, I talked about how he texted me and how he was very reflective about realizing his flaw is not putting me above certain priorities, and that's costing us our quality time, and how I'm getting the short end of the stick. And he was very reflective and was saying everything that I was glad that he realized. It was nice to hear it from him rather than me trying to convince him of that. So I felt like, okay, great. We're moving forward. This is a great step to a better journey, a better step in our journey together. So I'm feeling good about it. But then I realized right after he sent that text and I responded immediately, there was no response from him immediately. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe he'll hit me up later on that day. It was a Sunday at that time. And so typically, as I said before, Sundays are the days when he is very booked and busy. But I expected somewhat of a response after I responded, like, okay, we're still engaging in conversation, right? I heard nothing from him. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm about to go to sleep. Maybe I'll hear from him in my sleep. Like maybe he'll text me and then I'll find out in the morning. Nothing. So I was still feeling some type of way. Like, how you say all these great reflective words as if you're on brand with what I'm saying to you and how I'm feeling about you in the situation, and now you're still not following through. Your actions are not aligning with your words. So okay, we had a conversation the following day. We FaceTime. It was a nice hour-long conversation. I talked about how he likes to, like, yeah, we will have a moment of conflict, but he's quick to, or he's more interested in moving forward. Okay, how can we move forward? And that inspired me because I talked about it in 2 episodes ago, how he, because of those actions from him so naturally, it inspires me to be better. It inspires me to let go of grudges. It inspires me to move forward. And I was feeling good about that. But just last week, I'm feeling not not settled anymore. I'm not feeling confident because a whole day went by. I didn't hear from you. And I talk about how you go through every little bit of your day and you don't send me a text. I'm not saying you gotta have a whole conversation if you're super busy that day, but nigga, you could say good morning. You could say, hey, I hope your day's going well. Hey, how you doing? I'm just doing a quick check-in. You could say that. But nothing of that was said. And a whole day went by and I didn't hear from him. And I didn't reach out because I wanted to sit back and see if he was going to say something. So, okay. The next day comes. I'm waiting until he hits me up. I still don't get anything. Later on that night, I finally hit him up. And hold on, I do want to point out something. A couple of days previous to that time, I remember I was waiting for him to hit me up because previous to it, I was consistently sending a good morning or hey, hope your day's going well type of text. So like it's been, so I want to make that clear. I'm not just sitting back pretty style waiting for him to hit me up all the time. No. It's been a mutual thing. But lately it hasn't been mutual on his end. And I remember there was one time where it was like evening and he hit me up talking about, oh, do I always have to say good morning? And I'm like, wait, what? I've said good morning to you several times. And if you scroll back to the previous day, you'll see that I've said that. So thinking about that right now, I'm seeing that for his attempt to make to create tension between us, to make it an excuse for him to suddenly draw back. And I'm seeing that's suddenly coming into my mind right now. I see it as a failed attempt to create this tension between us and to excuse him not reaching out to me frequently, if at all, anymore. Like he's, some people would start an argument in a relationship just so that they give you a reason to not want to talk to them anymore, not fuck with them anymore, to break it off. I think that was his little attempt in doing so because it came out of left field. And if you scroll back to previous conversations, literally scroll back to our text thread, he would see 2 days consecutively, 3 or 4 days consecutively, me hitting him up first saying good morning, hope your day is going well, or something. I would initiate the conversation. So it is not not one-sided when it comes to that. So when he said that, it was like red flag. Okay, so he okay, so cool. Sunday last week. So Sunday comes, still didn't hear from this nigga after the previous day, Saturday. Didn't hear from him at all. We didn't talk at all. It was nothing. So I'm like, that's weird. Sunday comes, the whole day goes by. We're finally in the evening, nighttime of Sunday, and I still don't hear from this nigga. I'm like, I'm about to throw someone's car outside of a bridge. Something. I'm about to do something crazy because you're not going to have me sitting up in my room literally waiting for you or just wondering what's going on. Like if you're feeling different about me, okay, that's unfortunate, but let me the fuck know. Let me know, make me aware of the change of the switcheroo so I could just know. Instead, I'm sitting in limbo and my anxiety is through the roof. And he already knows I have anxiety and it comes out in flares when it wants, when it's triggered. And for you to blatantly do this, I'm even more pissed and I'm even more anxious. Okay. So it's nighttime. I'm calling, still nothing from him. First his phone would ring and then reach to voicemail. Then it would ring once and then straight to voicemail. And then it wouldn't ring at all, straight to voicemail. So either way, and I think I said this before in the last episode. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, he must have blocked me. What's going on? So the next day comes. No, that night comes. He finally responds. Because I texted him, I was like, what's going on? I felt do you still like me? Like, what's going on? Because I'm feeling different. I'm not feeling confident about what's happening. So I asked him blatantly, do you still like me? Do you not like me anymore? And then his response was kind of weird. Like, he's like, it's not like I don't like you anymore. He said, it's not necessarily I don't like you anymore. It's that I just need to assess what's the best path for me and for us. And it was just this weird, like little sketchy ass response. Like, what are you saying? And apparently he needed to finish writing something in his notes to follow up with a full response to me. So I'm like, can you just call me? Like, can we just talk over this over the phone? Because this is not effective. Like, I'm not going to have this whole conversation with you like through text only. No. Call me. So he obviously did not call me that night. The next day, I'm waiting for him to call. No, he says, oh, he went to sleep. It was past his bedtime because he got to get up early for work the following day. And so he couldn't call me. So I'm like, okay, sure, call me right after work. He still didn't do it that following day. So later on that night, I think it was early the following morning. So this is all throughout the span of the week, all throughout the span of last week. Okay, so I didn't call him. I texted him. I said, you know what, nigga, fuck you. Because I've been waiting I was sitting on that response. Like, oh, I'm about to say this. But I was sitting on it, just waiting for him to show me a reason why I shouldn't say that to him. But he gave me every reason as to why I should say that to him. So I started off like, I deleted the message thread, so I just have to remember what I said verbatim. I'm going to paraphrase as best as I can. But basically what I said was, I did say verbatim, nigga, fuck you. No, I was like, okay, wow, this is really how it's going to be. Nigga, fuck you. I said that verbatim. And foolish of me to think that falling in love with you, that falling in love with you was worth it or something. And I verbatim said those words because at that point, feeling, even prior to this little weird mysterious disappearance from him, I was falling in love with him. I was feeling very attached to him emotionally, and I was enjoying where things could have gone. And I describe it as falling in love, right? I think. Honestly, this is my first experience of falling in love with anybody. So, bitch, I could be completely wrong, but that's how I was feeling. And I think had we still be like, if we were still talking to this day, if things were still good, then I would definitely confidently feel so sure in my feelings for him. But being that things are definitely done, it's easy to pull back. And maybe you could think, well, maybe you never fell in love with him. Maybe, but I also feel like I'm just a different type of person. I know some people could relate, but I am someone who, I could fall in love with you, or I could love you. I could like you really bad, really hard. I could really have strong feelings for you. I will always have stronger feelings for myself. I will always love myself more. And it's not on some selfish shit. I feel like the word selfish has such a negative connotation, and we were all made to believe that being selfish is such a negative thing. Oh, you're selfish. This is negative thing. And I'm here to tell you, no. Selfishness is necessary. Obviously, your selfishness should not be to the detriment of others. Obviously, that shouldn't even have to be said, but I'm going to say that. But selfishness is needed because we sometimes could put ourselves at the bottom, like not even at the totem pole, nigga, the dirt. We could be below level. But I love him. Like, but do you love yourself first? And yeah, you love him, but how are you showing him how to love you if you don't love yourself? If you're tolerating X, Y, and Z behavior because, oh, you love him. So like many of us have this warped, unhealthy, toxic ass perspective on love, thinking if you love someone, you must suddenly forget about yourself. Suddenly you forget about your own hobbies, your identity, your personality, your goals, your ambitions in life. All of a sudden you only think about this person you love. And I think that is totally false. That's a false sense of love. And I'm here to eradicate that. And maybe I just have to be a living testimony of that for others to be inspired. But I'm here to do that. And I think that is one of God's purposes for me here on earth in this flesh, because oftentimes I see too many people, too many women in particular, who love these men so tirelessly, and they don't know what a goal is for themselves. They don't know what a personal goal is. They don't know what makes them happy. They don't know what's a joy. What does it mean to have peace and joy? All they do is for their nigga. All they do. And it's like, I never want to be like that. And I hope me being who I am is inspiring for someone to realize, am I take care of myself? Am I taking time to take care of myself? Am I putting myself first when I need to, which I think is all the time, and I'm going to say it again, not to the detriment of others. You could still care for people. You could still love people. You could still have close, strong friendships and relationships in your life. And you could still love yourself more. And by loving yourself more, you're realizing, you know what? I know I've been friends with this person for a decade, and I know we grew up together, but this person hasn't really been a good friend to me. This person hasn't really showed up for me. And I know I love this person, right? I could still love you and I could still let you go, because at the end of the day, I have to sleep with myself, right? You could be sleeping with someone else, but you're still sleeping with yourself because you're in your body. I'm preaching, y'all, but you're in your body, you're in your thoughts, you're in your heart, you're in yourself. And if yourself is not being fed, if you're not pouring yourself the water that you need into your cup, no one else could do that for you. So you could be loving someone down, holding someone down, really showing up for other people. And if you don't get that in return, then what? Oh, I just love him. That's just how love is. That's just the way it is. That's the way love goes. No, it's not. Stop that shit. Like, stop. Love yourself more. Pour into your own cup, because you can't rely on other people to do that for you. And yes, there are people out there who do love you, who will pour into your cup. All of that is great. Nourish those friendships, those relationships, and take care of yourself as well. Don't rely on other people to take care of you. Girl, where was I going? Yeah, so I was feeling like I was in love with him. And so I said what I said. Okay. So I said that to him the following day. So this is all happening throughout the day. So he'll sometimes respond within the same day, or he'll respond the following day. And then I have to wait again for him to respond the following day. It's just this whole weird thing. And then you'll say, well, why the fuck did he just call? Bitch, I don't know. Because I certainly asked for a phone call. I certainly said, hey, give me a call, and I think also because I've entertained the text conversation, I entertained it for a while enough so that, okay, I'm giving you a little bit something, but can we continue this conversation over the phone? Because this is a lot. So anyway, I said what I said about how, first I said, nigga, fuck you. Foolish of me to think that you are worth it for me to fall in love with. Okay. He responds. Finally, he responds, because he wasn't responding before, right? He was taking his sweet old time before. He responds saying, "You love me?" ? And it pissed me off. It really pissed me off, because had I not said anything about me falling in love with him, he would have never responded, y'all, or he would have responded 3-4 days later, being the punk ass that he is. So I'm just really upset. Like, wait, what? It took for me to say, what if I was a real bitch and I lied? And I just wanted to kind of see what he'll say. And you might think I'm still that bitch, because was I really in love with him? Am I really in love with him? Who knows? But that's how I felt at that time. So I said it at the time. Okay. Now I don't know. But okay. So he responds and he says, "You love me?" And mind you, he responds early in the morning, and I'm over here, prepping for my virtual class, and I'm just reading it like, wait, what? It took for me to say that to warrant a response from you? Nigga, fuck you again. So I didn't respond. I'm looking at it. He finally responds. So he double texts, and it's in the afternoon time, and he's like, "Maxine, do you really feel that way about me?" I immediately say yes, because that's really how I felt. That's why I said what I said. So he's like, "Oh, I'm still at work, but I'm gonna give you a response, just kind of giving me some context as to why he's not gonna respond so quickly." Okay, fine. whatever. So he finally does respond. And like I said, I don't have the message thread anymore. I've deleted that. So I'm doing my best to remember as much as I can, as clearly as I can. But his response immediately was just, he was saying how he didn't know how deeply I felt for him. And he is in a space right now where he's just thinking if this is the right situation for him. He's feeling unsure. He knows that he has strong feelings for me, but basically he's not in a position to love. He said how he doesn't really love a lot of people or much people in his life. He was saying how he doesn't love his friends, his family, or himself. And I was like, wait, huh? I've been dating this nigga who doesn't love himself. Okay, what are we doing? I wish I knew that from the beginning. Hello? Can we dial it back to 9 months ago? When I knew, like, could you let a bitch know you never loved yourself? I would have stepped away from then. When a nigga doesn't love, when someone, anyone, when someone doesn't love themselves, red, purple, burnt orange flag, walk away. Okay, when someone doesn't love themselves, they are not in a position to love you, to treat you right. Because how are you doing that if you don't love yourself? You know, that's really what it is. So he's saying all of that. He's then saying how he's been, you know, the past 2 days, he was just trying to figure out his thoughts and he was waiting on confirmation from God. That's what I want to get at. Okay. So this nigga, and Church Bay is his name for a reason, because like I said, he is heavily in the church. He grew up at the church as I did. And he still is involved in church activities. He's a musician. And so that's why I call him Church Bay. He was saying how he's been praying to God and he's waiting for God to confirm whether or not I'm the one he should pursue. And if God tells him blatantly Maxine is not the one, then he would have to back off. And that's not what he wants, because he really wants me so bad. And he knows I'm so good. Like, you're too good of a woman to pass on. So he was explaining how the times that I dubbed him before when I broke it off with him, how he should have never, not should have never, but like he should have never took me back with the intent of being romantic. Instead, he should have just took me back platonically. But he said he wanted me so bad and he felt so deeply for me. So he just went on the limb again. And he was feeling like he wanted to just get some confirmation, because he doesn't know, like, are these feelings true or not? Is he just, stumped in infatuation for me? Is it stemmed in reality or in what he should follow? And here's the thing with that, because my response initially, no, but okay, so hold on. So he ended that whole, mind you, we're responding, he's starting off with essay text messages. And so I'm responding the same essay text messages because he has yet to call me. So he ends off that essay saying how he wants to, yes, he's trying to gain confirmation from God. He's been praying to God and he's just waiting on confirmation. But in the meantime, I just want to love on you right now. That's what I would like to do. So at the end of that, I'm feeling somewhat hopeful, thinking, okay, well, it seems like he's going to lean into us. He's going to lean into me. He's going to really show that he's going to lean into it. He's going to be present. He's going to really feel his feelings and just be all in. And I'm thinking, okay, this is great. Let me be understanding with what he's coming from. He is Church Bay. He is someone who does believe in God and the power of God. So let me recognize that. So, I'm being understanding at first. I'm trying to say how first I'm showing sympathy, because you're just telling me first off that you don't love yourself. Nigga, what? Like, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna, I feel sad for that. My heart goes out to you. That's really unsettling. Like, you don't want to hear someone saying that they don't love themselves. Of all people to love, you should love yourself. If okay, everyone disappoints you, everyone lets you down, no one shows up for you, all these things, right, that you cannot control. People are people, and sometimes you could attract negative people. Okay, but at the end of the day, during the day, at the beginning of the day, throughout the day, you should love yourself. That's if y'all don't get anything else from this podcast, okay, from episode 1 to episode 94, if y'all don't get anything from this podcast, it's to love yourself, period. And just end it right here. Love yourself. That's all I preach. I talk about it so insistently because it is the thing that you need, period, to just move forward in life. You want to be that successful therapist, doctor, friend, lawyer, whomever, whatever career path you want to be in, or just whatever path you want to be in personally. Loving yourself is the path number 1. Okay, that's the first path you got to be on and stay on. That's the greatest love of all. Shout out to Whitney Houston. Anyway, so I'm responding with compassion, trying to show some understanding, and I was telling him how I went on a 30-day fast, and how, because he did ask me in his text, he was like, he never knew that I felt that way about him. And, he was asking, why do you love me? And that's another red flag. Don't fucking ask people why they like you, why they love you. Nigga, I just do. And yes, I remember talking about it in a previous episode, how, if you do ask that question and the person responds with a, I don't know, that's a nigga, what? Like, that's just, know your words. Like, if I ever do ask that question again, because I've asked that question before, like, oh, why do you like me? Why did you choose me? All of that is just, like I said before, that all of that stems from insecurity. I don't care why you love me. I don't, because at the end of, not, I'm sorry to say at the end of the day, but period, you should. That's really what it is. Period. You should love me. Why wouldn't you? That's the question. Why would you not love me? You don't love yourself. And that's clearly what it is with Church Bay. You don't love yourself because you have these deep feelings for me. You like me a whole lot verbatim, right? That's what you said. But you don't love me yet? Okay, nigga, that's you. That's on you. And that is the reality. Not to sound like a glowing ass bitch, but it really is what it is. He's not in a position to love. He's not comfortable with that. I don't know what trauma he went through. Maybe he went through, I don't know what it is, but he clearly don't love anybody. So how can, and especially not himself. Okay, so I'm showing understanding, and I feel like, okay, let me maybe share my story a little bit. I told him how I went on 30-day fast, and I realized these feelings for you, amongst many other things I realized during that fast and post that fast. I was trying to push away those feelings, and eventually I surrendered to those feelings about him. And I reached out to him, when we rekindled like 2 or 3 months ago. It was because of me reaching out to him and telling him I was wrong for the way that I treated him last. And, I miss you and I want to talk to you and I want this to be, revived. And at that point I was realizing that I think I'm falling for this guy. So I also was just ultimately revealed by God that I don't want my fear of abandonment to stifle me anymore. I want to actively pursue a life that is worth living. I don't want to stay stuck in trauma anymore. I don't want to stay stuck in that younger version of me who was disappointed and traumatized and let down yet again and again and again. I have control over my life now, and I get to show out for that little version of me and be the bold and the fearless person that I could have been then, but I wasn't granted the power of, or didn't realize the power that I had then to be. So life is worth living. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Life is worth living. Life is worth thriving in, and fear will hold you back. And that's fear in all modes, whether it's fear in progressing in your career or progressing in relationships or progressing just in yourself. Fear should not be a factor. You should actively work against it and do it afraid, do it scared, whatever the it is. Love someone who may not even love you back, who may not say it back, you know? So, and I think that's interesting about love too, you know. Oftentimes, you know, we'll watch these different love stories and the questions will be asked, who said I love you first? And they'll point to one, you know, one of the partners in the relationship. And I wonder, because I've never been in a situation where I love you back, right? Immediately there's the same mutual feelings revealed at the same time. I've never been in that situation. So I don't know what it's like in a relationship when the partner loves the other partner and the other partner feels the same way and says it back. I don't know what that looks like, how that feels. Do people typically fall in love with each other at the same time, or does it take a few months for the other partner to catch up? Like, I don't know what that looks like. So am I warranted to feel slighted that he didn't love, or that he said that he didn't love me back? He just likes me real, you know, a lot. I don't know. Am I meant to feel slighted about that? I don't know. But I think naturally, of course, it's natural to feel uncomfortable, even feel remorseful, knowing that, oh man, I said I love you. Damn, and he doesn't feel the same way, or damn, he doesn't feel that way at all. That sucks. But I said to myself as well, that wasn't my goal. Me saying I love you or that I'm falling in love with you wasn't for you to say it back to me. It wasn't. And yes, that would be an icing on the cake. And maybe you shouldn't even be looked at as icing on the cake, but that would be great if you feel the same way. Of course, you want people to feel the same way about you, but it's not about them. It's not. It's about you being bold enough to feel that deeply anymore. I never thought I could feel that deeply. I never thought I could go there because I was so entrenched in fear and being disappointed that who would have thought Maxine would feel love or feel falling in love with someone. Like, huh? What does that even look like? So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to myself and to God for going there, for even saying those words, for even realizing it in the moment and previous to that moment, for standing in that. So I stand in that boldly still. I do, because it's powerful. There is freedom, there's beauty in loving, period. And of course, it's great if that's reciprocated, but that's not the point. So I was proud of myself for saying that, and I was proud of myself for not staying stuck in fear anymore. So that's number one. Number 2, 3, 4, all the numbers. Okay. So yeah, so he's saying all these things, and I'm showing him and I'm telling him, my story about the 30-day fast and how much I've got from it, and that's how I was able to really just boldly say how I feel. And he responded with the whole, he is thankful and yet envious. He used those words, envious, because he used that word envious because he is not there yet. He's not comfortable being in his feelings like that. He's not bold enough to be that way. And he was just really like doubling down on what God says is for him in regards to me and him, and feeling unsure and feeling he doesn't know what to do. And I just think, here's the thing. This whole, I need a sign from God. I need God to tell me what to do. Look, what I'm saying is not trying to be blasphemous at all. Yes, ask for direction. Ask for guidance. Okay, ask for a sign. Okay, do that. Do that. But when the signs are in your face, or when you just sit back and sit still expecting God to do all the work, what the fuck are you doing? And I just think that him using God, like, oh, now you're gonna use the big old man upstairs, has the excuse of why you really just a pussy ass nigga. And I'm saying he's a pussy ass nigga because it's really just because he's a boy. He's a boy. This whole situation has made me realize, oh, the reasons why I broke up with him many months ago is the reason why it's not working out right now still. Like, I know I did that for a reason. And that's I don't give, it's not to say I don't give myself enough credit, but I wanted to not really give those reasons much light anymore, because I felt like, you know what, he's a great guy though, he's a great character, and yes, all those things are true. He has great characteristics. I've said that before. And this nigga is just young, not just age-wise, but just mentally. There's this youngness, there's this immaturity about him that doesn't mesh with me. I'm too grown for this nigga. And I can't. K Michelle said it best, I can't raise a man. Actually, should have said, she should have named that record, you can't raise a nigga. A nigga will just be a nigga, will be a nigga. Period. You cannot raise a man. You cannot make him the man you need him to be. He needs to already be there. And I know I talked about in the last episode how I was feeling hopeless, and hope is the thing that you really need to hold on to. The devil really works in the details to really put you down. And I was checking myself, like, hope, I'm gonna hold on to hope. And I know it feels hopeless. I know it feels like, oh, just yet again, something is pulled up from up under me, and I thought I could be happy with this situation, but boop, never mind. Hope still remains in me, because there are men out there, I don't even call them niggas, there are men out there who are ready to love, who will see me and know for sure, no scary shit, no indecisive shit. Oh, she's my wife, right? And maybe I don't want to get married, but hey, I want to be with her. I want to date her. She's my woman, you know? And so that's real. That's real. I've seen examples of that. Yes, through Instagram, yes, through celebrity news and through different shows, but that I see that in real life. Like, people have said, I've seen men say, as soon as I met her, as soon as I laid eyes on her, I knew she was my wife. I knew she was mine. Oh, and I don't like the whole mine thing, but you know what I mean? I knew she was the woman I wanted to be with. And you can't tell me that all those niggas just came together at a meeting and was like, okay, we're going to say this great line and pull more females into our corner. No. I do believe that when you know, when you're ready, you're ready. So yes, I'm a good woman. Yes, when he said I'm too good of a woman to pass up on, he's right. But if you're not ready to receive me, and not just receive me, if you're not ready to reciprocate, there's no period. It's not gonna work. You could mean well, but you're not, like he said, he's not in a position to love. So anyway, when he was keep on putting it on God hasn't showed me yet what I need to do. I didn't get confident. What the fuck are you talking about, nigga? Shut the fuck up. God ain't got shit to do with this. No offense, I'm not trying to be blasphemous, but God, all of a sudden you calling in the Lord? Where was God earlier, huh? Where was this energy to want confirmation earlier? So I asked him, I was like, what prompted this? Because you still haven't really given me clarity as to what made you suddenly ghost me. And that shit was fucked up. And I held him to the fire on that, because okay, cool. You wanted to ghost me because you wanted some clarity about me and about us. Okay, there's still a way. Hello, young ass nigga. There's still a way to communicate that to your woman, to the person who you've been talking to consistently for the past 9, 8. Like, there's still a way to do that. You could say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna need some space because I'm feeling uneasy about us, and that's because of X, Y, and Z, right? He apparently said, well, he said that he watched a sermon. I don't know what the sermon was about. He didn't go into detail. Mind you, this is still through text. So at this point, I was feeling annoyed and just I'm tired of reading essays. I would rather just hear your voice and talk to you there. There's an affliction in the voice that you hear that could warrant a better response. Text could only do so much. Nigga, call me, punk ass. So he was saying how he watched a sermon or listen to a sermon, and he felt like the sermon was speaking to him, as all sermons do. That's a trick the pastors be doing. I swear, y'all don't see the obviousness. Sermons are great, don't get me wrong. I used to be very just so not used to be, they're all great. Not still to this day, I could still be affected by and feel so personal. I could feel like this sermon was personalized for Maxine. Yes, the pastor was directly talking to me. It was like I was the only person in church. No, these are common things. Understand this. Sermons, preaches, all of them, they talk about common threads of emotions that people feel. Everyone feels lonely. And it's funny because you really feel like, I know for me, I really feel like, oh, it's in my head. I'm the only one who feels lonely. I'm the only one who's ascending. I'm the only one who's trying to break out of generational curses. I'm the only one. Everyone else feels like they're the only one, y'all. Like, it's hilarious how much we have that in common. Everyone feels like they're alone in something or another. You could get, a preach could get to you by saying, by talking about, know your worth. You got to know your worth. Everyone's feeling at one point, what is my worth? Oh my goodness. Or open a new chapter in your life. Why are you holding on to relationships that don't serve you? Everyone has been through situations where they've been friends with somebody who weren't good friends to them. And so it's a relative emotion that everyone feels. And everyone's questioning their relationship. Like all of these feelings, all these situations that pastors talk about in their sermons are meant for everyone to feel like this was personalized for me. Literally everyone. So don't feel extra special, like God was telling you something. I mean, sure, maybe God could. I'm not doubting that. The point is, nigga, shut the fuck up. Because you you want to bring God into it. Since when? Oh, you prayed? Okay. Because you say you've been praying for me since the beginning. He said all the time, not all the time, but sometimes he said to me, I pray for you all the time. I don't know what, I don't ask any deeper questions. That's between you and God. But I'm wondering, what the fuck are you saying these prayers for you to now ask God, is she the one I should pursue? Huh? So when you were praying for me all the time, what were you saying? You just praying that I have a good day? What the fuck? What? Send me your prayers. Let me talk to God myself. Oh, I was praying for you. Praying, saying what? What are you talking to God about me? What are you saying to God about me? Huh? Run it to me first, nigga. Don't be talking to God about me first. But okay, so, and I honestly, I feel like he was using, and I still feel like he's using this whole God. I need God to show me, to confirm. I'm waiting on confirmation, on clarity. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you not a man? Like, here's the thing. Christians, right? If it doesn't apply to you, don't get offended. But y'all know who I'm talking about. There are many Christians out there, many believers out there who are quick to just say, I'll pray about it. They don't do anything else but pray. Prayer is powerful, don't get me wrong, but they don't do anything else but pray. They will sit back and be like, I'll pray about it. They don't apply to new jobs. They just expect the job to suddenly call them and be like, hey, are you interested in this $500,000 salary job? Sir, you don't even have a degree in this field. What you expecting a phone call? Sir, you've never drove this bus, and now you're expecting to be the driver of this company? What? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Stop praying and do something. Or stop. No, Pray and do. Faith without works is dead. All these things are real sayings. Niggas just like to pray and sit back. I'm going to pray to see what God says. Okay, be specific. Are you being specific with God? Are you telling God, hey, make her wear a red shirt? If she wears a red shirt tomorrow and I see it in our FaceTime conversation, then I know she's the one for me. But I don't know. But the point is, obviously don't make it superficial like that. But the point is, what are some things that you are looking for in a partner? Right? Some things are very straightforward, y'all. Write those things down. And it's not to say, people like rip up the list that you have for your partner, rip up that wish list. No, hold on to that shit. I mean, reevaluate it, consider your non-negotiables, but write down the list of things that you need in your partner. Do you need your partner to be compassionate, to be encouraging, to be understanding? Okay, you write those things down. Now, the person who you are spending time with consistently, does she or he exemplify these traits? Has the person showed you their compassionate side? Has they showed you that they are supportive? Please tell me. Because if X, Y, and Z is showing very consistently, I mean, what else? What sign are you looking for? Because that's it right there. I'm not saying I'm those things to him. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not those things, but what I'm saying is some things are just straight in our face that we think signs are like a frozen shot. Like suddenly you walk outside and everybody else is frozen, and then God comes down and talks to you and says, Maxine is the one for you. And then suddenly everything goes back to normal. That's not a sign. Like, signs are very straight in your face. God could have already showed you what you needed to see, but you're too stuck in fear, right? You're too stuck in fear to see that. And that's what it is. Don't put God into it. No. God has nothing to do with your fear. God did not give you fear. That's the devil. Okay? God did not give you fear. That is not the power of the Lord. He gave you, sound mind, boldness. There's another one, but those are the traits that he's giving you, not fear. So you telling me you're not in a position to love, that's it right there. Don't insult me by saying God didn't give you confirmation. Nigga, the fuck? God always get confirmation when it comes to me. God always gives confirmation when it comes to me. So you mean to tell me God speaks to me better than he speaks to you? Huh? The thing is, there are people who are not in tune with themselves. God is in you. How does he speak to you directly? You got to look into that, because the way he speaks to me may not be the same way he speaks to you. And that's cool. But you have to know God for yourself and stop relying on these extravagant exposures of signs that you are looking for. What are you doing? How do you talk to God? Talk to him for yourself. What do you? It really bothers me, because it's really about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. People out here, Christians out here, many Christians out here, and believers, however you identify, but a believer in God nonetheless, don't know shit about themselves. They really don't. All they know is, I'm a worshiper. I love the Lord. That's what I know. I love God. Jesus died for me. On the third day, he rose. They will recite the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, okay? From Mark to Ruth, okay? From Deuteronomy to Lamentations. All the books. They know all the books back and forth. They know all the characters, or the real people, however you want to, describe them. But they will know everybody in the Bible as if they grew up with them, as if they were a cousin of theirs. They will know everybody. But if I ask that person, hey, what do you like to do for fun? Worship? Crickets. You heard that, right? Crickets. I like to worship. Oh, literally, they don't even say that. They just be like, what do you mean by fun? What are you talking about? They don't know themselves. Hey, what are your hobbies? Hobby? Worship. I like to worship. Okay, all right. Let me see if I ask something else. Okay, what do you want to be, or where do you want to be in life 5 years from now? Worshiping. I'm done. I'm gonna say it again. There's nothing wrong with worshiping. You could be a worshiper and you could be a painter, right? You could be a worshiper, a believer of God, and you could love creating artifacts. I don't know. You could love cooking. You could love making music. You could love things as well as worshiping and loving God. Like those things do not need to those things could coexist. That's what I'm saying. And oftentimes Christians don't have shit going on in their lives. All they do is go to church and go back home. Go to church and go back home. Watch another TD Jakes podcast, a sermon, watch another Dr. Matthew Stevenson sermon, but they don't know shit about themselves. Huh? I ask you to name 5 things you like about yourself. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to start because you don't know yourself. Get to know yourself. The same energy you do to get to know God, to get to know Ruth in the Bible, to get to know Abraham and Sarah. Do that shit to get to know yourself. What do you like to do? Huh? Write down 5 things you like about yourself. Oh, I'm a supportive person. I show up for people. I'm a hard worker. I make the best out of any situation. Like, what is so great about you? If someone were to meet you today and you are interested in that person, why should they be interested in you? Answer that question. Why should they love you? Why should they like you? Why should they take you out on a date? Why? If you can't think of an answer for that why, then you need to get to know yourself and sit back. Don't be dating. Don't be spending time with any of these niggas. Sit back and talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. That's the God in you. You over here waiting on signs from God. How can God give you a sign when you don't even know yourself? You don't even know yourself. I need niggas who know themselves. I need people who know themselves more. Period. Y'all, I'm just so it just opened my mind to the fact that, oh, you're not like me at all. Like we have completely different mindsets when it comes to a lot of different things. And as reflective as I am, as much as and he said something very interesting. He was like, oh, wow, you went on a fast. I know we met in church because the first time we met in church. And he didn't realize at that time that I was in my faith like that. That's what he said verbatim. He just figured, just go to church. We grew up in the church. That's what you do. You go to church. And I get that. But why does it have to be, oh, I didn't know you were in your faith like that for me to know that you went on fast? First of all, mind you, this is my first fast I went on. I've never been on a fast before. I just never took it seriously. But then I realized, I was talking to myself. I was getting to know myself. And I was realizing I need to change some things about myself. I'm realizing I need to do better because I don't want to operate from fear anymore. So I've heard about this thing called a fast. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this. And thank God I did. So it was just interesting how he felt like I don't know, like I forgot what I was going to say with that point, but him saying he didn't realize I was in my faith like that, it just opened my eyes to, what do you mean? What does that mean? You got to be in your faith like that to take care of yourself, to talk to yourself, to realize, hey, I want more from myself. So I was explaining to him, I was like, I hope that eventually you could get out of this space of this like feeling of unworthiness. I didn't say that verbatim, but I said it. I'm trying to paraphrase, of course. His response was something. He was like, he has the rest of his life to. He's like, I'm smart. He has the rest of his life to. So because he's smart, and because he has the rest of his life to, work on love, he knows he'll get there. And that's another red flag for me too. It's like, nigga, I'm just hearing red flags after a whole race car coming out of his mouth. Red flags, period. Why is that a red flag? Why do you ask? That's a red flag because you don't have the rest of your life. Nigga, you could die tomorrow. Seriously, life is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. And it's not to be mortal, it's not to be morbid at all. It's just to be realistic, especially in the times that we're in right now. You could be done today. If you were to die today, would you be happy with how you lived? Would you be happy with how you treated your friends, your partners, your family? Would you be happy? Or are you just gonna wait till tomorrow? Or you gonna wait till the rest of your life to get it together? Because I got the rest of my life. No, you don't, nigga. I don't know when this is over. God willing, I do have more years ahead of me. God willing, he does as well. I'm not wishing death, on anybody. The point is, you need to not think like that. Stop thinking like that, you dumbass nigga. Like I get so frustrated because it's more than like mental stimulation, mental connectedness. All of that is really big for me. I can't just ignore that. I can't just be with someone who just, okay, he's cool, he's a good guy, but do we connect mentally? Yes, I said, and yes, he does have great characteristics. He's understanding, he's compassionate, all these great traits about him. His character matters. I talked about that literally an episode called Your Character Matters, and I talked a good chunk about Church Bay and how amazing his character is. Baby, that's not enough. I'm realizing that again because, yes, before I've said that. I've said, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's not a good guy for me. Like, he's not for me because he's not at the level mentally that I need him to be, that I need my partner to be. There is a lack of intellectual range. There is just this dumbness. And I know I'm sounding like a bitch, but there's this dumbness that I see from this nigga. Like, I was what was I saying? I was entertaining responding to him through text. Like, we were talking through text, essay, y'all. Essay, like 4-page letter, Aaliyah style. Like, oh my God. Then I'm eventually saying, I don't understand why we're still texting when I've asked you to call me. Then he wants to say, oh, so when you get to say what you want through text, and you could say what you want all dandy, but when you ask for a call, I'm supposed to just call, it just whatever you want, Maxine, or whatever. And I'm like, what? We've literally been texting this whole conversation. I've been entertaining this. I'm not doing it anymore. I specifically said, what, nigga, how is this effective? Do you really think texting, having this conversation through text is effective? Like, that's not a rhetorical question. Literally, do you really think having this whole conversation that we've been having through the span of this week, it could have been shorter, right? And I've noticed, I thought to myself about different moments in our relationship when he would let something dwindle for so long. It'll be a long-winded conversation because he's starting off through text. He's having these conversations with me through text. And it's like, even on the phone, sometimes he lacks an understanding. This just is dumbness. It's a dumbness. It's a dumbness trait. I'm telling y'all, it's a dumbness. Like, wait, what makes you think you don't get that? And I think he's afraid. So yeah, I said all those things, right? I was like, do you really think it's effective for us to have this conversation through text still, or period? Why can't you just call me? Like, why can't we just have it all over the phone? He's like, you're missing the point. And I'm like, okay, good night. And that was the last words I said to him. That was 2 days ago from this time that I'm recording. So I haven't talked to him since. I don't plan on reaching out. I'm done, y'all. And so I said that, and I feel like there's this dumbness, right? And there's this immaturity from him that I'm just really seeing more and more of, and I just cannot ignore anymore. And I think it's because he's afraid. He's afraid to talk to me over the phone. There's no more of a disguise you could wear if you're on the phone with somebody, if you're in person with somebody, right? There's this boldness we have through text, through tweeting, through statuses on Instagram, captions, Facebook, whatever it is. There's this boldness that we have over the screen, okay? But when it comes down to actually hearing your voice, suddenly you're shaky. You don't know what to say anymore. This whole soliloquy suddenly is one sentence. Suddenly you don't know what the fuck to say, huh? Where's that boldness then, nigga? Like, give me a man. Talk before I even respond via text, you should call me, nigga. Before you even text me a whole essay, you should be like, you know what? This is dumb. Let me call this bitch. Call me a bitch, right? Let me call this girl. Let me call her. Before you even see, as soon as you see me type, right? And you know, with iPhones, it notifies you by giving you those three dots, the ellipsis. He should be like, okay, let me call her right now. Let me just call her. No. It's still a text message. That's the immaturity I'm talking about. There's this cowardness. It's very cowardly to avoid a conversation over the phone. It's very cowardly to really face me as a man because he's not that yet. He's not man enough for me. I'm sorry. I know that's a bitch thing to say. You're not man. I'm too much of a woman for him. And I know, no, I'm not gonna say that because that's putting me down. Like, oh, I'm too much. I don't like that word too much. No. He's not enough. I'm enough. I just haven't come across someone who is enough for me, but I know I'm enough. I know I'm good as I am. And he's not there yet. There's this immaturity that is clear and blatant. You know, he should have been calling me like, you know what, you're right. Let me talk to you on the phone. And then my friend was talking about, she gave me an interesting take. She was like, you know, maybe she's like, you know, yeah, there's no excuse for him not calling. Like this conversation would have been had. So many conversations would have been had he communicated it clearly. His communication skills are poor and his style to communicate is poor because he's choosing to text. Text is so, you could be very bold. Like I said, you could be very bold with those thumbs. But when it comes to that voice, where's the baritone, nigga? Where's that at? Where is it? Could you tell me your baritone? Can you make me hear the baritone in your voice? So my friend was telling me, she was like, oh, you know, maybe he feels like when he talks on the phone with you that you may cut him off and that he may forget what he says, what he wants to say. And look, here's the thing. I'll cut you off. I would, and I can admit to that. I will cut you off when you're wrong. No, but I'm saying that humbly. So I'm saying that because, okay, there was a point when we would talk on the phone before. It was a couple of weeks ago. We were having an argument and we were arguing, or it got a little heated because I was cutting him off. And I was cutting him off with good reason though. Please understand, when you're on the phone with someone, you're having a conversation. It's not, oh, this person gives a whole 3-minute soliloquy and then you respond with your 3-minute soliloquy. No. It's an exchange. You say, hey, you know, I'm really feeling bothered. Oh, why are you feeling bothered? Because I feel like you're not caring about me. And here's the reason why I feel like you're not caring about me. Whoa. Let's take it step by step. Let me walk you through it. There was one time, I forgot what he said, so I'm just going to try my best to remember, but he was saying here's what he said. Because we was having a conversation yet again about his inconsistent communication when it comes to the weekend and how when it's the weekend, suddenly he goes ghost. And I was saying how, you know, I kept emphasizing to him, communication is very important. We obviously don't live in the same state and we need to rely on communication for us to really grow as individuals who are dating each other. And he was saying how, so I'm saying that very clearly, like there's really, honestly, the way I communicate, there's really no room for misunderstanding. If you misunderstood what I'm saying, you're dumb. Do I need to say it again? If you please understand this. I'm a teacher, y'all. I'm an educator. I have to teach students, okay? High school students. I have to break down language. I got to use precise, concise, clear, direct, succinct language. Okay, I know my words. I know how to use words to my benefit. I know how to use words. I know what words mean. I know how to spell words, huh? And this is a dig to him because he be spelling your incorrectly when he should be saying you are, but he used a possessive form of your. I'm just like, oh my God, this nigga's dumb. And mind you, he didn't. I'm going off topic, but I get so annoyed with little things like that. Like, that matters. It's not. And with the iPhone, let me just break this down, y'all. There's really no excuse to spell your incorrectly. Like, say if you just messed up, right? Okay, we have our mess-ups. Okay, cool. I'm not grammar queen. Maybe I am. But the point is, the iPhone corrects you. Like, if you use the correct your, say if you just didn't feel like putting the apostrophe, it puts the apostrophe for you. Hey, it literally corrects it for you. Oh, you meant your, right? It corrects it for you. So you deliberately putting the incorrect your is showing me that you don't know the difference. I'm sorry. Let's go back to grammar 101. Let's go back to it. You don't know the difference. That's what it is. Anyway, so we were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago over the phone, and he was saying how he feels like I'm harping on behavior from the past, from our relationship from the past, because from the past, I've said things like, you're not being communicative, you're not being communicative, or, you don't hit me up enough, stuff like that. And there's been time in the past when I've done that, right? Earlier on in our relationship. And I cut him off immediately because once he said he feels like I'm harping on the past, I was like, nope, you're not going to do that. If someone's telling you incorrect information about yourself, you check them, right? Don't you want to clear that up? No, I got to wait till your 5 minutes soliloquy is done. No. This is an exchange. I'm going to tell you, hey, that's not true. Actually, I've never used what happened in the past. Actually, I'm referring, he's like, because I'm like, no, that's not true. I'm actually referring to the last two recent times since we've rekindled that you have been MIA or very unstable with your communication. And you know what? Nigga forgot because he was like, okay, tell me when. I'm like, do you want me to write down the time and the date? And I was describing the conversation that we had or the events before that led up to that lack of communication that I was referring to. And I think he was so stuck on stupid that he was not willing to understand or hear me out. I felt like he was just so interested in just staying in his feelings and staying in his thoughts. And I'm just like, no, that's not true. And you know what? I actually have proof to back it up, which is stupid that I even have to bring that out. I got to bring out my arsenal of proof, nigga. No, I'm telling you what it is. So I actually wrote down in my notes because I was preparing to send him a quick text. And it was literally the day before or the day after he was not being very communicative with me, and I had the date because in your notepad on your iPhone it stores the date for you. So I gave him the date. I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, I do have the actual date of what I'm referring to, and I showed him I told him the date. Crickets. Suddenly he doesn't know how to talk anymore. I just disproved what the fuck you were trying to say. Of course I'm gonna cut you off because you're wrong. So it's not like I'm cutting you off like, you're wrong. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm totally mature, y'all. I know what I'm saying. I'm gonna cut you off. And it's not even a cut you off thing. And I hate that mindset. I had an actual ex-boyfriend of mine who would be bothered when I would cut him off. I did cut him off a lot. Not because he was telling wrong things. It was because he was taking too damn long to tell what he had to say. Like, this nigga would talk like a turtle. Get to the point. Like I said, I'm a teacher. I get to the point. I'm concise. I'm straightforward. I'm succinct in my speech. I literally have to be in my job in order to be the best teacher, in order to be an effective, a strong teacher. Okay. And my ex-boyfriend, he would talk for so long and so slowly. And it's like, hold on, is it a yes or a no? Are we going to go to this spot or are we not? He's like, well, the spot shows a lack of diversity in their menu, and the prices are, it's a yes or no. I'm not asking for a damn explanation. It's yes or no. Then he'll harp it back to me like, you're impatient. And I think that's unfair. I feel like that's just like an easy excuse men use towards women. oh, you're impatient. Damn, you crazy. Yo, calm down. Just wait. You need to be more patient. It's like, shut the fuck up. No. You need to say what you need to say straight up. You need to speak better. Speak clearly. Okay? So I really think that's what it is with Church Bay. He's not man enough for me, and his fear of not knowing or not understanding what he needs to say effectively. Like, I don't think he doesn't have the cojones, the balls to speak to me over the phone. He lacks that confidence, and he doesn't feel comfortable because I've disproved him many times before, and he's just sitting back like, oh, crickets. Like, oh, nigga, you heard what I said. I gave you the date. I gave you the proof that you asked for. I gave that to you. So, I said all those things. Anyway, so I think that's the reason why he is dodging a phone call and not interested in calling me. And when I did call him, previous to this conversation, he dodged those phone calls. I am grateful. Let me tell you why I'm grateful. I'm grateful. You may think, well, why are you grateful? He told you that he doesn't, feel the same way about you as far as love. And he told you that he's not in a position to love. Yeah, all that is unfortunate. It's, okay, cool. It's a little disappointing. Okay. But I'm so grateful to God for creating me to be who I am. I am someone, I move the fuck on. That's how great God is, because I don't harp on niggas like that. I really don't, because I love myself too much. I do. And I mean too much. Too much sounds negative, but I love myself. And I refuse to just stay on your dick when you're not interested in me like that, or you trying to figure it out. I'm not no Donnell Jones. No. I don't care if you trying to figure out where you want to be. I'm out. If you don't already know, if you already didn't get that inkling that Maxine is the one for me, okay, bye. Like, what would have been better? What would have been respectful if he said without a doubt, this is not working out for me. You're not the one for me. I prayed to God. I got confirmation. He told me no, right? Okay, cool. But yeah, that would have been unfortunate. Okay, but I can't go against God, right? You want to talk to God all of a sudden. I can go against God. But to insult me by saying, I don't know, to show me this indecisive ass, bitch ass response is like, fuck you. Like, while you over here waiting on this sign from God, while you over here, waiting for confirmation, trying to figure out what path to take, nigga, are you driving? Are you in a car? Are you on the highway trying to figure out which exit to go off of? What are you talking about? What path? And yes, I'm very metaphorical too in my speech, but get to the point. Don't use figurative language with me when you're talking about your feelings for me. What is it that you're trying to do? This whole indecisive shit is just weird. And to be petty, this is me being petty now. Here comes the petty card. This is I think I was able to snap out of it easily by remembering that this nigga is skinny as fuck. Maxine, what? This nigga skinny as fuck. Remember I talked about that before, y'all? In long ago episodes, I was saying how Church Bay, he needs to eat. The nigga has no muscles. He doesn't eat enough. I remember before we had a conversation, I would tell him like, why don't you eat? Like, why are you not eating today? How you just miss a meal? Aren't you hungry? How you not have an appetite? Like, you're really skinny, right? Like, you're okay with your weight like that? And then he'll get defensive like, oh, you don't know what I try to do to gain weight. You're not doing anything. You're not. But you're not, though. That's the thing. Like, okay, cool. I'm not with you every single day, right? But I'm also talking to you very consistently. And we talk about your day as well as my day. And throughout your explanation of your day, throughout your description of your day, you're never saying, oh, I went to the gym. I lifted weights. Oh, I went to the gym 4 times this week. Or, oh, I ate. Oh, I ate a bomb-ass meal. You never talk about any of those things. You're not doing them. I remember one time I was telling him how, because I'm very active. I love working out. I'm all about growth. I'm all about being my best self. If I could take anything to be a better version of myself, I do it. I love working out. I love figure out a new eating habit, a new lifestyle plan. I just love all that gets me excited. He doesn't have the same energy. I remember I asked him, I was like, I just finished a workout for today. Oh, I'm at the gym right now. I will say it. Like I'm clear about my day. I'm clear about things that I'm interested in. And he's like, oh, okay. So I was like, oh, what? Like, I'm trying to feel him out, trying to see, okay, is he doing the same? Because we've had this conversation before. So I'm trying to maybe catch up with him to see if he's changed a little bit. Because mind you, at this point, we had like a 2 or 3 month hiatus. Okay, so he's like, oh, he's planning to be a member at this gym, but he and his boys are trying to figure out which gym they want to go to, because they want to go to a gym that has a basketball court, and this other gym doesn't have one, but the distance between that gym. And then he was saying how, dang, he needs to work out, but he wakes up early to go to work, and it's like he doesn't have enough time. You know what I hear, y'all? Excuses. You know what I hear? Excuses. I hear another lame ass, lazy ass motherfucking reason. Huh? We all gotta wake up early for work. What are you talking about? You know what time I wake up to go work out? I've been working out in the morning. I wake up at 4 a.m., y'all. I go to the gym. I've actually just started a gym membership now that I moved out of my apartment. Okay? So I make the effort. And you know what I do? I come back here and I get ready for my work day from home. I take a shower. I make something to eat for breakfast. I drink something to get my thirst quenched. I drink some tea. And I start my work day. Okay, cool. It's not the same as him because he's actually at the workplace, but that still doesn't mean shit to me. Okay, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. to get ready for work. Wake up at 5 and work out. Wake up at 6 a.m. because you got to leave or be at school, at work at 7. Wake up at 6 a.m. and work out. What are you saying? Like, there's always an excuse with him. There's always a reason why. Like, oh, you got to wait on your niggas to figure out what gym you want to go. Shut the fuck up. Go to the gym. Go create a gym in your backyard. I hate excuse ass niggas. I hate that I miss you ass nigga. Remember the time? I don't know if I said this to y'all, but there was a conversation that we was having, and he was saying how he misses me every day. Okay, but what you doing about it? I've been told you that the invite stands for you to come here and see me. I told you the date of when my lease ends and I'll be moving out of my apartment. I've given you time to consider and to figure out when you want to come see me. He never would be the one to initiate the conversation about it. The excuse of being on probation, when you start a new job, you have a probationary time. That excuse is over because he's been at his job for longer than the probationary time. And he's never just like given me a clear answer. So I'm like, okay, what? You say you want to see me. You say you miss me. So what's up? He's like, oh, and mind you, I'm always the one initiating these conversations. Then he finally tells me how, his sister who lives in Texas, but she lives in not in Houston, in another city. I'm not gonna be too specific, but whatever, another major city in Texas. And he was gonna fly out with her to Texas so that he could spend time with her as well as me. Mind you, the distance between Houston and the city that she lives in is 4 hours. Nigga, how you gonna make that work? Because the way that you're communicating and planning things out is very non-existent. But you expect for me to trust that you'll figure out it's not a 30-minute difference between me and your sister's city. No, it's a 4-hour difference. So you're just gonna get on the plane? Because you clearly are not telling me that. I don't know. I can't figure it out. So there was a specific date that he was thinking about doing. Mind you, this is all still words that he's using. Thinking about, planning to. Nigga, is it booked? Is it busy? And of course, let's use a COVID-19 excuse. Oh, I heard that you got to take the test. You know, that they'll force you to take the test before you get on the plane. I'm like, that's not true. I went on the plane just fine. There was no forcing. Not true at all. And I gave him proof of that. I went to flights.gov or whatever the actual certified website is and gave him the information about what he's talking about. I had a friend who recently flew out, literally around the time that me and him had that conversation. She said she didn't need to get a test. She didn't need to be forced to be tested for COVID. All she needs to do was fill out a form. It's just, the thing is always these excuses. He's a boy. He's a boy. That's the point I'm making. He's a boy. He was never going to fly out here. He wasn't. And I feel like cussing him out. I feel like cussing him out off of that. Nigga, you were never going to come out here, nigga. You weren't. This whole talk about, and I asked him, I was like, oh, are you not going to come here? Like, you only got to come here with your sister? Like, I don't get that. He's like, it's not necessarily that. I just wanted to, have 2 in 1, like, a bang for your buck. Look, I'm not against that. Have a bang for your buck. Cool. Save your coins. That's fine. But what's the plan? Because Dallas, well, y'all got it. But the point is the point. You were never gonna do anything. You weren't about that life. Stop being a puss ass nigga. And oftentimes with him, he gets so, I think it's this whole fantasy that people create when they're, and I've done that too, so I get it, but there's this whole like life, this whole world that you create when you're talking to someone solely on the phone. And there's no other way for us to see each other outside of that. When I was home a couple of months ago, when I flew home after learning that my cousin passed away, he was not on his shit. And what I mean by that is he knew I was home. And yes, I was obviously grieving the loss of my cousin. But he was not on his, like, look, I know you're grieving. I know you're, with your family mourning right now. Just know that, if and when you want to hang out, you want us to spend time together, I'm here, I'm free, I'm ready. You let me know, right? Like, he never even said those words. Instead, he was hush hush. Instead, he just stood back. Like, where's this energy? Like, do I need to find a nigga to show you how to be a man? And when I've said, I know what the fuck I'm saying, y'all. Like, when I've said before to y'all on this very podcast of mine, I was like, I need a nigga. I know I say a lot of shit about niggas, but what I mean by that statement is I need a nigga who knows how to be a nigga. Okay, I need a man. I need someone who knows how to take charge, who's not a bitch ass, who will call me after I send him a strange, mysterious text and he needs some clarity. He's calling me, right? I need someone who knows how to communicate. All that is what I mean when I say I need a nigga. Give me that. That's what I'm saying. A motherfucking nigga. You giving me this whole soliloquy. Nigga, spell soliloquy. Spell it. Okay, you don't know how to spell it? So call me. Let's have a conversation. Like, niggas doing a whole little can with me. You avoiding. You... Nigga, I'm done. Anyway, I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I rekindled this relationship because I wanted to no longer operate from fear. I wanted to be brave when it comes to my emotions. So I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud that I went there and I allowed myself to even feel the beginning of falling in love with somebody. I'm proud of myself for that. And that gives me hope. I talked about in the last episode how I feel hope was dwindling once I was feeling and seeing that he was pulling back and he wasn't giving me a response. And what I thought could have been blossoming into something more suddenly got snatched away. So my hope was dwindling. But I feel hopeful now to today because, and moving forward, I feel hopeful because I see that I can fall in love. I see that I can trust myself in those strong feelings, and I can be that whole person when it comes to those feelings and not be afraid of that. Like, I could do all things. I could be loving. I could trust my heart and go there. And it's not about if the person feels the same way about me. Obviously, that would be great. That would be ideal, right? But again, I don't know how that looks like in relationships. I don't know when niggas ask, "Oh, who said I love you in the relationship?" And they point to the other person. I don't know at what point do the other partners say it right back. I don't know the rule for that. So if y'all know, please let me know, because I haven't been there. How quickly, when you first say I love you to your partner, how quickly do they respond with that same feeling, or is it normal that they don't feel it at the same time? Like, what does that look like? I don't know. But I'm proud of myself. And I know that because I allowed myself and I took it there and I went there, I know that I could do it again. And I am doing it again, right? I am gonna go there again. I am there already, and I am able to experience that love. So this gave me more hope than I thought I could have received, because before I felt hopeless. So I'm so grateful that I could see clearly now. Okay, the rain is gone. The rain is gone. I could see. So I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the new perspective God has given me about this whole situation. And I'm grateful for the confirmation. This shit, he was looking for confirmation. I got my confirmation. Oh, you're not for me. Never mind. I need a man. I need a nigga. I need someone who's not a coward, who could call me and have a conversation, who knows how to communicate, who has the intellectual range. Some words that I use, I'm not what's Michael Eric Dyson out here. I love that man. I love him. But he be using these like a whole philosophy, astrosophy. Like, sir, what are you saying? What's the lamest version of that? Okay. But there's a disconnect when it comes to me and Church Bay. He just doesn't talk the way I talk. He doesn't get it. And I have to keep on teaching you. I don't want to teach anybody. I don't want to raise you. I don't have any kids. I'll be damned if I have a kid who's 25 and I'm 29. Okay? No, we're not doing that. So to final this off, I said to him, because he was still on the whole, because I was like, I don't know. Okay, where do we go from here? Because I don't know how to move on, because it feels like you're going back to, like, it feels like you're not going to go back to how it was. And I don't necessarily, like, I'm not going to wait for you to figure it out. Like, I hope you could figure it out soon, but I'm not going to be over here waiting for years, or even, earlier than that. I'm not going to wait for you to feel the same way for me. Like, no, I don't. I'm a bad bitch. Like, can we just pause the podcast right here? I'm too much of a bad bitch for me to be waiting on a nigga who's I'm about to say something so crazy, but I'm gonna stop myself. I'm not gonna wait on someone who doesn't even eat. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna wait on someone who doesn't even lift weights. I'm not gonna wait on someone who's not quick to hop on a plane because he misses me too much and he's tired of saying those words and he wants to see me. Actually, let me hop up and tell you, hey, I'm here at Bush Continental. I'm here at Hobby. I'm not, and those are airports, by the way, in Houston. I'm not. What am I? Okay, bye. Okay, bye. So, and then his response to that was just like, I just don't, it's not like I don't want to move forward. It's just, I don't know. And it's not like necessarily I don't want you to bow out and leave. I'm just like, it's just, he's not giving me these clear answers. It's these, I don't knows. I don't know how nigga, no. So and it concludes with me saying, ultimately, because I was tired again of just saying how I was feeling through text. You know, I was tired of these essay long ass messages between us. So I was like, look, I'm not reading this anymore. He's like, oh, you're not gonna read it? No, I was like, I'm not doing this through text anymore. He's like, oh, so you're not gonna read it? I'm like, look, I read it. Here's what I'm gonna say finally. Here's my final response. I'm not interested in someone who's not sure about me. I'm not interested, and I don't deserve someone who is being scary and indecisive, and I'm not interested in that. You know, I don't deserve that. And if you want to talk about it, call me. If you want to talk about this further, you could call me. Going back to the first option, the only choice here, you could call me. And that's when we got back and forth about the whole, you know, why you get to say what you want to say all dandy through text, but when I want to say, you want me to call, you demand me to call you. What are you talking about? We've been texting for the past week. Not once have he called me, y'all. Like, what kind of dumb shit? I need a grown man. You can't call me. Oh, you're afraid of me. That's what it is. I scared this nigga. Okay. Let me put that to my belt. That's a notch to my belt. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself and I'm excited. I'm grateful. I'm excited because I have proved to myself that I am capable of love. I am capable of committing to someone and choosing this person, and I could do it again. I know I could do it again. I will do it again. And I'm excited for the next guy to do it with. I'm excited to date again and explore new niggas. And I'm excited to do it in a better mindset, in a more enriched mindset. Because y'all know before my 30-day fast, which was not too long ago, I was fucking niggas left and right who did not deserve me. And I would feel depleted every time thinking, oh, I'm just being sexually liberating. Woo. And yes, there's power in that. But I also realized there's also power in closing your motherfucking legs. Okay. I talked about it in the episode where I talk about the wet ass pussy episode. You know, let's talk about these dry ass pussies because that's what I currently have. Only person who's pleasuring me is me. Okay. Nobody else has been down here since I don't know how long. It's been not too long, but it's been a couple of months. And that's my plan. I don't get excited for these niggas sexually. I really don't. One is physically my body. My body is not instantly turned on by you. Because I have to feel. So I just learned this new term. It's called demisexual. I think I'm saying it correctly. Yes, demisexual. And what that is simply you cannot feel aroused by someone if they do not stimulate you mentally. Okay? That's what a demisexual, yeah, I said it correctly. Yeah, a demisexual is specifically being sexually attracted to people only after a strong emotional bond has been formed. No, that's not what I meant. Hold on. There was actual, I heard it from somewhere. Demisexual is basically what I said. You know, you have to be mentally stimulated. This person has to make you feel like, yeah, I guess, yeah, emotional connection. Okay, fine, that's fine. And I identify with that. I think that's totally fine. Emotional connection. I need an emotional connection with you. And a part of my emotional connection is a mental connection. I also need to be, yeah, and it's sapio. I said that already. Yeah, so I'm a sapiosexual. I said that before. I'm a demi. I guess I'm all these sexual things, huh? What's up? But the point is, I have to feel a bond with you in order to enjoy a sexual experience. And I haven't. I've had so many sexual experiences and I haven't felt the bond with not one of these niggas. It's like, I mean, there's been a couple of guys who I felt a good bond with, but it was just a momentous thing. And I am to a point in my life where I am calling in love. I am manifesting that into my life, and I want that. And so I can't just be out here fucking these niggas when I don't feel shit for them and they don't feel shit for me. Or if we do feel that instant connection, it's great for the moment, though. It's great for, and I've been through a couple of situations where it's great for the moment. Oh my gosh, he's saying the right things. He's looking at me correctly. Like it's on and popping. And then the next day, suddenly a cloud goes away, is unveiled, or whatever the saying is, and you realize, oh, I don't feel this way for you anymore. This was just a moment. And that's what it is. So I am looking for genuine connections with men. And in order for me to be sexually satisfied, I must have a genuine connection with you. I must be mentally stimulated in order to have an amazing sexual experience that is in result of a strong relationship. So all these things go into each other. So I would really, going into dating now, I'm excited because I'm really gonna make these niggas work for it. Like, okay, taking me out. And it's not just about, I'm totally not materialistic. It's not about that. It's about what are your efforts? Are you putting in efforts to make me laugh? Are you putting in efforts to excite me? And it's more than just you touching my nipple. No, no, no. Take me out to this play because you heard me talk about fucking Langston Hughes. Take me to a play that talks about his journey as a Harlem Renaissance artist. Wow, that's effort. I want to see that. So I'm excited for the genuine, amazing, therefore beyond pleasing sexual experience in result of an amazing relationship, all going into one that I will have with a partner, with a man. I'm gonna make that clear because when you say things out loud, you'll get it, but you may not get in the package that you want it. I want it in a man package. No offense to anybody else. But I just want it in a man package. I want that man. So I'm excited for that, and I'm welcoming that into my life, and I'm calling that in. And so with the old and with the new nigga who it is. Well, the new nigga's not here yet, but I'm calling him in. So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm just really proud of myself. I'm leaving this situation with Church Bay proud of myself. I'm leaving it alone, and I'm moving. Like, I moved on. I'm good. And it's funny because you could be thinking like, damn, bitch, but you just said you were in love with him. Okay. I didn't say I was in love. I said I was falling. And like, I think he made it seem like, and I don't want to check him, like, because I felt like in that moment I was trying to make it work, right? But so I didn't want to like wreck those chances. But I think he was taking it like, oh my gosh, she's deeply in love with me. No. Honestly, I'm gonna need more. I'm gonna need to see you physically to be deeply in love with you. And yes, I talk about, I need to have genuine mental, emotional bond with someone. Yes, and I need to see you. I need to see what that mouth like. I need to see all that for me to fall deeper, right? Or to fall deep in love with you, period. And we haven't had that experience. So no, I'm not there yet, but I was on that bridge. I was about to get off that bridge and fall into that damp. Okay, that dam. So I was falling. That's why I use those words intently. I was falling in love with you. I was about to fall off that cliff, but I was like, oh, just in time, God snatched me the fuck up. He put that parachute on me. I blew that thing up, and I'm flying in the air. Because I'm realizing, oh, okay, I was falling, but God got me right back up, and I'm here now. I'm here now. And I think my feelings were real for him. But like I said, I come first. And if I see and feel and realize that you are not sure about me, that's enough. I got it. Thank you. It's not even like you go figure your shit out and then come back to me when you're ready. No. I figured it out for us. Bye. You don't have to figure shit out anymore. That's enough. You made it clear for me. You being indecisive. Who's indecisive about this? He is, obviously. But Church Bay is. But the point is, you being indecisive is enough for me to know I got to go. All right. Y'all, thank you for being here and listening. This has been a continuous rant about Church Bay. He got a lot of exposure. Shout out to Boston. And let's talk about Boston Bay for a second, because, you know, he used to get a lot of exposure, a lot of podcast time. And what's interesting, sometimes when you break off, when it's over between you and a new boo, and that's over, and then you start to think about, like, damn, let me go back to that ex. Was he really that bad? Y'all, I know it's foolish for me to even think that, but I had a blimp of a moment when I thought that. I'm like, damn, Boston Bay, I mean, maybe the gaslighting wasn't so bad. Maybe the emotional abuse wasn't so bad. Maybe the consistent inconsistency wasn't so bad, huh? No, it was bad. But what made me even consider Boston Bay, and I wasn't at the brink of reaching out to him. I wasn't, but I was thinking about him. I was just thinking about him. And I haven't been thinking about this guy at all for a long time. So the fact that I was thinking about him, it was just simply because of the superficial of it. Boston Bay is a man. He's that nigga. He's that nigga that I would have appreciated from Church Bay, as well as Church Bay's great characteristics. I would have liked if Church Bay had the same physical appearance and mannerisms and oomph like Boston Bay has. And that's really why me and Boston Bay lasted for as long as we did, because he was just that nigga. Like, okay. Like, physically, like, he works out. And mind you, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying I need a buff ass Arnold Schwarzenegger type ass nigga. No. I want you to still have a dick. Because those big guys who work out nonstop, they take steroids. Okay, they have no dick anymore. Suddenly it's gone. I don't want those guys. I'm talking about the guy who works out. And Boston Bay works out, okay? He has muscles. He has a pack. He's well structured, okay? Like, you could feel the muscles on him while he's wearing a shirt. He's just fine. God, let me stop talking about him before I do something I will regret. The point is, he has this physical appearance and this aura about him that he is fully in his manhood, that he's not no questioning ass nigga when it comes to who he is as a person. Yes, he has his trauma that he has to work through and he has to heal from. But aside from all of that, he's a nigga, and he's a fine nigga, and he looks good, and he looks the part for me. And so that's what I'm gonna call in. That's what I'm gonna manifest into, pray into my life, with the characteristics that I need in my partner: the understanding, the supportive, the encouraging, the fun, the adventurous, the ambitious, all of those affirming characteristics that I need in my partner, in the package of a well-structured, well-built, physical, well-fed. Y'all, let me stop before I reach out to Boston. I'm not gonna reach out to him. I'm not. But what could have happened was, because I was really considering, like, maybe I should just reach out to him. At least he looks the part. At least he turns me on. At least he makes me feel like, ooh, I'm with the man. Like, I want to be with someone who, if I happen to be in a situation, I'm on the street and we're walking down an alley. I don't know why we're walking an alley. If I'm walking down an alley, Boston Bay's with me. Oh, he got my back. He got me. He'll defend the shit out of me. He'll shoot this nigga, okay? Because he's that nigga. You're not gonna, because ultimately it's about his manhood. You're not gonna disrespect him as a man. And if you walk up to his girl, to the woman that he's walking with, and try to assault her, your ass will get killed, okay? That shit turns me on, okay? It turns on many women. Like, you want to feel like your man could defend you. And I think about Church Bay in a situation like that. No, I could defend him. Okay, I could probably pick him up. Remember one time, I think he was feeling some type of way, but I said to him, I was like joking about his skinniness. I I'm a bitch. I'm not a bitch, but like, I talk shit. Talk that shit right back to me. Give me that energy. And he was like, no, I'm actually, yeah, I'm thin, but actually, like, I'm not like frail. I'm not weak. And it's like, okay, all right, nigga, I'm just playing. You won't be in your feelings. But with Boston Bay, he could defend me. Let me stop thinking about him. But anyway, yeah, had he, honestly, I was just giving him some thought. And sometimes when you think about someone so hard, you think about them long enough, suddenly they just appear. They just appear in your life, and they just text you all of a sudden, and then boom, how did this come about? Because you called them in mentally. The cosmos brought y'all together. So that's not what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of things I think about Boston. I think about, like, it's a lot of things I would have loved for him to be. And that's just ridiculous when you think about that. Like, how you want to work it out with somebody if only they change the essence of who they are. Like, I'll be with you if you were funny, if you were nice, if you were kind, if you were romantic, if you took time to take care of me, if you were consistent. Like, literally all the things that you're not, it's not working out. What are we doing? So no. So yes, I'm looking forward to my new dating adventures. And of course, I will keep you all informed, as I always do. And yes, this podcast is amazing because I keep it real, and I hope that I pray, y'all, I want to pray. I'm going to pray to God for a sign. Okay, let this be a sign. Let this be a sign. Share this podcast with your friends, repost it, either through Twitter, Instagram, whatever modem that you use. Tell a friend through text, and, let them know. Subscribe to us. Subscribe to me in this podcast by either subscribing on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or Spotify. And please leave a review. Bless me with 5 stars, and yeah, tell a friend. So thank you again for your support, and I will check in with you all next time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.